Welcome back. We are calculating. We're not really calculating, but we are finding indefinite integrals, and we were just getting ready to do number 7. So let me write that over here. Number 7 is x to the third minus 3 over x squared. There's no quotient rule for antiderivatives. We just have to rewrite it. So I'm doing a rewrite. And I'm going to take the x to the third over x minus the 3 over the x squared. Now we still need to simplify and rewrite this. So this is what x to the 1, so that would be x squared. And notice I'm bringing this integral everywhere because this is also still a rewrite, not an antiderivative yet. So I still have this integral on the dx. You can practice those things. And this gives you x squared minus 3. And then I'm going to bring that up and give it a power of negative 2. And finally, it's in a form where we can take the antiderivative, and these are powers that are not negative 1, so we'll use the power rule. It's only if you have a negative 1 power that you have the ln. Negatives are okay, you just can't have negative 1. So we're going to use that rule. So if I do that, haha, you got it. Let's see. If I add 1 to that, that gives me a 3 over 3. And if I add 1 to that, that gives me a negative 1 over negative 1 plus c. And your integral and your dx goes away. So you don't have any on that step. And I'm simplifying just x to the third over 3 plus, I took that double negative here and combined it into just 3x to the negative 1 plus c. All right, let's try number 8. 8 is the integral of u parentheses u squared plus 2 du. So here's a u instead of an x. No big deal. We'll just do everything, all the rules the same except for I use the variable u. Now to do this, there's no product rule, only in differentiation. So we're just doing a rewrite. And all I did was distribute here. So you get x to the third plus 2u. And this is u to the 1 power. And I'm going to use power rule. So this becomes u to the 4 over 4. I added 1 and divided by it. And then I'm going to add 1 to that one and divide by it. So you get, and the 2's hanging out there. Don't forget that. 2. U squared over 2. And I see the 2's cancel here. So I get 1/4 u to the 4th plus u squared plus c. All right, so that is a bit of practice. 9 gets a little bit different. And then we have some, of course, applications. This says, given that f prime of x is equal to 6 over square root of x and f of 25 equals 65, find f of x. Whenever you're given this information next to finding f of x, now we have the derivative, we want the antiderivative, we want to go backwards in the process that we've been doing all semester. This information is going to help you find the constant c. Haha, always remember that. So I wrote this down, all this, just from the worksheet. And we need to find f of x, that's our goal. So I'm going to write that f of x is the antiderivative of f prime of x dx. And these two things always go together, so I'm used to writing it like correctly. You're brand new at this, so just know that this integral and this dx go together. And I'm going to put f prime of x here because I'm doing the antiderivative of the derivative, and that should give me back to f. So I'm just plugging in that 6 over the square root of x that was given, and then I'm putting that integral and that dx surrounding it. Okay, now I'm going to do the antiderivative. Now what do I have? I have the antiderivative, or the integral of a constant, a power, an e, and then we've got a negative 1. We've got 4 things here. Which of the 4 will we use? We're going to be using power because if I rewrite this, so this now is going to be a rewrite. So remember that square root of x is x to the 1/2. All right, and I still need to rewrite. And I'm getting 6x to the negative 1/2. And that is a power rule. But it took a while to get there. So let me show you. I'm just rewriting the f of x equals, I'm going to add 1 to this and divide by it. The only time you don't do that is if you have a negative 1 here. That'll give you a 0, and divide by 0. That gives you. But a negative 1/2 is okay. So we've got x to the negative 1/2 plus 1. Then you put exactly the same thing from the power plus c. And now you're going to add negative 1/2 plus 1 is 1/2. So I did that. Simplifying, you don't want to leave it like that. So 6 divided by 1/2, you can put on your calculator, will give you a 12. So 12x to the 1/2 plus c. There's more to it. We know that f of 25 is 65, so this is going to help us find c. This c right there. Because if I plug in, and this is little f of 25, and I put that in there, so 12, I put a 25 in there plus c, and I say that's equal to 65. If you put that in the calculator, it gives you 60. Subtract 60 from both sides, and you have a 5. And voila, this c, you can now put a 5 in. And your f of x is 12x to the 1/2 plus 5. I'll be back for the rest.